Joining us now is former Yesh Atid Knesset member Rabbi Dov Lipman, who will give us some more insight into what last year's news means for the future. Thank you so much for coming in.
It's great to be here with you, Natalia.
So let's begin. What would you say your biggest message is to the Jewish people on this new year?
The greatest message and the greatest thing that all of us can think about is we can start anew. Whatever issues we've had, whatever challenges we've had as individuals or as a people, Rosh Hashana, the beginning of a new year, it brings a certain freshness, it brings a certain newness, and an opportunity to say, whatever was, and now it's time for us to move forward. That's, by the way, in our own personal lives on a physical level, on a spiritual level, and also as a nation, and it's an incredible opportunity.
Absolutely. Now, for those of our viewers who are kind of unfamiliar with this holiday, tell us a little bit about Rosh Hashana.
So the Jewish New Year is actually very different than the non-Jewish New Year. It's not you're not going to see all kinds of countdowns and celebrations.
Right.
It's actually a very serious day. It's actually in our tradition a day of judgment, a day of introspection, a day of trying to correct our flaws as we approach God and we actually pray for a good new year, both as a nation, as individuals. So it's a very solemn day, but it shouldn't be overly solemn. It should be a day our sources talk about. It's a day of joy. We sit, we feast together as a family. We hear the shofar blast, which is the horn, which symbolizes God as king and the judgment. But we also should sing, we should dance, and we should rejoice together in festive meals as a family.
Absolutely. And so it means tomorrow, which is Wednesday, nobody's going to be working in this country. I think one of my favorite things about Israel is that when people are celebrating holidays, especially the high holidays, everything really shuts down here. You don't necessarily see that in other countries. So.
It's true. I remember as a child in America walking to synagogue on Rosh Hashana, and it was a regular work day. The buses, the trains, the cars, the honking, the traffic, the sports, everything is just happening. And in Israel, for these 2 days, people really do shut down. Again, there's more religious and there's less religious, but the concept of reverence for the day and recognizing something important is happening here, that's pretty much universal in Israel, and it makes living in Israel so special.
So moving on to some news, what do you think is the most significant accomplishment of the state of Israel in the past year?
I think we have to focus on the accomplishments of the people. If you think about what Israel is contributing to the world, and it happens on a almost daily basis, that you see new technologies, new medical advances. When there's a disaster somewhere in the world, we're the first ones there or the only ones there with a field hospital. If you think about the Syrian crisis and the only country that was really taking in anyone to help them, we had field hospitals on our Syrian border trying to help whatever we can. I think that's where Israel can look at itself over the past year and really pat itself on the back and say, we've accomplished so many special things which are really impacting the lives of people all around the world in the most positive of ways.
And absolutely, another thing though is, we obviously have had many accomplishments here, but there are still things that the state of Israel needs to work on. What do you think is the most pressing issue that the Israeli government needs to address in the coming year? I
would say it's twofold, but they all come from the same source, and that's the unity of the Jewish people. First and foremost, the unity of the Jewish people in Israel, where we have this religious, secular divide. When we go to a synagogue Wednesday night and Thursday and Friday, we don't pray in the singular. We pray in the plural. It's not about me as an individual, but we actually view each other as a nation. And as we approach and as we approach the Day of Atonement later on in Yom Kippur, we actually say we can't pray unless every part of the nation is here. Even those who are quote unquote sinners have to be together because we're all one people. Just like an orchestra, every single instrument has its role. By itself, it might not sound so on key, but together it makes the beautiful melody with all the harmonies. That's the Jewish people. So in Israel, first and foremost, we have to deal with a lot of issues of religion and state to make sure that every single Jew can feel at home. Every Jew is working together on the progress of the state and on even defending the state as well. Respecting each other, a coexistence, that's in the state, but that impacts the relationship of Israel and diaspora Jewry as well.
Absolutely, and the egalitarian prayer plaza is an example of one of the issues that has been majorly divisive.
Correct. These are all issues which are pulling apart the Jewish people and creating a gap between Israel and diaspora. What greater time than Rosh Hashana for all of us to think about that issue and say, you know what? Maybe we pray differently, maybe we have different ideologies, but when it's all said and done, we just have each other, we're just one family, and that's what the prayers of Rosh Hashanah teach us, that when it's all said and done, we are one family with one God, and I think we have to get back to those basics and begin to love each other and respect each other, and that has to play out in government policy in Israel as well.
Absolutely. Well, Shana Tova, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Shana Tova to you and to all of the viewers of ILTV. Thank you for your support of Israel, for encouraging Israel, for being with us in our good times and our bad. And we should only have a year of peace, health, and happiness for all.
Beautiful. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Shana Tova.